Yeah, the Knicks made the conference finals for the first time in a quarter century, but lost to the Pacers. But if you let a sorry team like the Pacers beat you, shouldn't even have an NBA team. Tibbs is what he is, but we shouldn't have lost to the Pacers, right? Weird though, if you look at the best team since January 1st, happens to be the Thunder and the Pacers, both teams in the NBA Finals. It turns out dumb fans just hear Pacers and they think, oh, they suck, because they don't watch basketball. The Knicks got beat by a better team, and Tom Thibodeau was the scapegoat. So why did he get fired? Because it wasn't for results. I mean, 51 wins, knocked out the defending champ Celtics. It's almost like the Knicks are allergic to success. Anytime they get a little success, they have to do something chaotic. But then it gets weird, because one man who didn't want Tibbs fired happens to be the face of the franchise, Jalen Brunson. And his dad was Tibbs' lead assistant. But a 20-year Knicks reporter named Frank Isola says not everyone's happy with Jalen's dad being part of the team either.
I think there are people in the front office that have an issue with him. And I think, this could be like one of many dominoes here. And this is just the beginning. To think that, oh, well, that's right, we get rid of Tom, everything's going to be perfect. There's a lot of stuff going on there right now.
What? What does that even mean? It's the beginning of the Knicks chaos? This is so like them. So what is the next domino to fall? Well, to find that out, we have to understand how they got here, because the Knicks made a huge change after losing to Indy last year. They already traded RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly for OG Anunoby, but last summer they dealt 5 picks for Mikal Bridges and Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo, and a pick for Karl Anthony Towns. The idea was to supercharge their offense, surrounded by elite wings, but a fatal flaw got exposed. Excluding the final game, look at these on-off numbers for the playoffs. With both Jalen and Cat on the court, the Knicks had a negative net rating of minus 1.8. Both of them off the floor, even worse, minus 18. You'd expect that. But when just one of them was on the court, that number jumps to a positive, with plus 11.1 for Cat without Brunson. So it turns out these two just aren't great teammates together, and the film backs it up. Brunson is a tough dude, but he's small, so you have to hide him on defense every possession. But Towns also needs a specific roster because he's bad on defense, so New York's got 2 gaping holes on D. Gets exposed every time. It's actually amazing that they made it all the way to the conference finals with their opponent easily finding a mismatch every game. Oh, but who do you think people are going to blame there? Will it be face of the franchise Jalen Brunson? No. Karl Anthony Towns has been the punching bag whenever anything goes south for one of his teams.
They went and they traded for him, and he's making $50 million a year, and at the core, he's a loser. That is their biggest problem. The guy is a loser.
Wow, that is so harsh, but it's nothing compared to what Gilbert Arenas said about Cat. This takes the cake for the most outrageous comment I have ever heard about an NBA player.
It's his physical makeup. Long legs, short torso, big ass feet. There's nothing he can do. He's built like a whole bitch. He's built like a female. He's built like a girl. He's like a full WNBA player.
Yes, hard-hitting analysis. It is so crazy what people are willing to say about Karl Anthony Towns specifically. Like, they literally don't say this stuff about anybody else in the NBA. But when it comes to Cat, anything goes. But it doesn't mean that they're all wrong, okay? Cat and Brunson do not seem to be a great fit, even though it was just one season together. And The Athletic reported his own teammates got fed up. Behind the scenes, players and coaches expressed frustration with Towns' defensive habits, less concerned about his talent level and more with his process. Towns executed incorrect coverages without communicating why. Players worried that Towns didn't grasp the importance of the matter. So basically, he can play defense, he just doesn't think it's very important. Kind of a red flag at 29 years old, 10 years in the league. Yo, I wouldn't be surprised if Tibbs went to the front office and was like, look, it's either me or Cat, because I can't stand this defense stuff, so they fired Tibbs. Now, we will get to Towns' trades, but Cat's not the only person to blame here. Mikal Bridges also performed way below expectations. Yes, he did hit some big shots in the playoffs, defensive moments, but overall, he was an average defender and from three, just 35% from deep, his worst season since being a rookie, and that didn't improve in the postseason. But they fired Tibbs because, quote, our organization is singularly focused on winning a championship. This pursuit led us to the difficult decision to inform Tom Thibodeau that we've decided to move in another direction. Really, a new coach is not going to fix the roster, so if they're serious about winning a championship, Tibbs really was just the first domino to fall, so who's next? Well, their options going forward are: 1, run it back, say it was, hey, first year, we need more chemistry, blah, blah, blah. 2, fix the defense around Cat and Brunson. 3, boost the offense to survive the bad defense. Or 4, break up Cat and Brunson. So what are they going to do? Well, trading Mikal Bridges is going to be tough. They paid 5 first-round picks to get him, and they're not going to get near that value back. On the flip side, actually, they might have to extend Bridges to not risk losing him in free agency next year. But what about Towns? Well, he is the highest paid Knick by a mile. He makes a boatload of money, including a $61 million player option that you know he's going to pick up 3 years from now, which is why the Timberwolves traded him for Julius Randle, like a $61 million big man who can't protect the rim. In this new CBA, no thank you. Only somebody desperate would. The Phoenix Suns are aggressively trying to trade Kevin Durant and is expected to be moved close to the NBA draft, according to a legit Phoenix reporter. Yes, trying to keep Devin Booker happy, baby. Book and Cat were college teammates. Remember the Slam cover from 2019? Cat, Book, and D'Lo all on the cover promising to play together someday. Well, it turns out D'Angelo Russell is a free agent this summer. Make the dream real. And yes, Kevin Durant is old, which would shorten the Knicks window. But it could be a one-year window with the Celtics out of the picture anyway. But what about the fit? Well, KD isn't great on defense anymore, but he's better than Cat. Then they would have to deal Josh Hart to get a big man, because they're still not over losing Isaiah Hartenstein. Now, I do have to say that Ian Begley, amazing New York reporter, says a KD trade is unlikely. There's probably still bad blood with owner James Dolan about when Durant chose the Nets over the Knicks in free agency in 2019, but in the end, it would be like they traded Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo, and a pick. Look, not the worst trade in the world. Now, obviously, the perfect fix, everybody knows, would be Giannis Antetokounmpo, but the only way that would happen is if Giannis asks out of Milwaukee and he only has a one-team wish list, New York. Otherwise, they don't have near the package to compete with other teams for Giannis. Or they could just say, look, this was a team that in their first year together made the conference finals. Why panic now? Because they already did, firing Tom Thibodeau. But apparently, the chaos is just beginning for the Knicks. Shocker. But another East team might get Giannis instead. Dude says he don't want to go out west, which actually makes a lot of sense. But which East teams are really a threat to get him? Well, a new report just came out, and it makes the Giannis situation a whole lot more interesting.